Welcome to Even Odds. I'm Carly.
I'm Matt.
And this is
Warhammer Wednesdays. Today, we're talking about priming your models. Right? So, Warhammer, Kill Team, all this stuff's like a multiple manifold hobby, if I'm using that right. And a big part of it is, right, we have these models. It's just in a single colored plastic, though. And we want them to really come to life on the tabletop, right? So big part of the game is the visual aesthetics of it, you know?
It's interesting because just to kind of talk about that for a minute, we've talked about how there are some people that just kind of don't really have any interest in doing this side of it.
Sure, yeah.
And they like commission having things done
Have
for
other
them,
people
or
paint
you
it.
could potentially even already find some models that someone is
You could buy them
that
pre-painted,
are already
yep.
just put together and painted for you. There are also other games like Star Wars X-Wing where
yep.
you're just buying models
You just
that
buy
are
the
already
models,
put
it's already
together.
all done. Video's mainly focused on sort of really the beginning stuff, but you know, maybe even if you've primed a model or two in your time, this might help a bit anyway, so maybe you want to keep watching. So right now we've got just basic plastic, right? These ones from the Kill Team, these guys came in this sort of like different shade of gray. The AdMech came in like a shade of red. And that's great. It's good to start off with.
It's good that they did that because we commented that then that way you can do it just right out of putting them together and be able to easily differentiate which team is which out of the box.
Yeah, but if you want to paint them up, you're going to need to prime the model. The point of priming is to give the paint that you're using some sort of surface to adhere to on the model, because honestly, this plastic, the paint does not adhere very well to it.
So you're just making
you're making
it more difficult on yourself to not prime it.
Right.
It's a penny wise and pound foolish
exactly
way of going about it, because you'll just end up having to do multiple
more coats
of your
paint.
colors, which then increases the chance of more mess ups with your lines. That's far more effort than putting
a coat of primer
step into doing the priming.
Right. Now, if you want to be super cool, you can go to any sort of. We're going to talk about a bunch of tips here. Chips. We love chips.
I think you were going for like chit chat.
Chit chat, yeah.
Tips, chips.
Tips,
anyway,
tricks, whatever.
Yeah. Go get yourself a bag of chips.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you a minute to pause here. Go get some Doritos.
Doritos, Cooler Ranch, obviously the best flavor. Looking at you, Tim.
Anyway.
Okay, so
cheese.
If you're super cool, you're gonna pick a primer color that's going to be also a color that is on your model, so that way you don't have to paint that color. Okay, so just we're gonna just use. I just grabbed a couple Gene Stealer models here for easy example. A lot of this Gene Stealer, I'm planning my color scheme. A lot of him is going to be white. All the cloth and so his pants and his shirt are going to be white. So if I prime my model with a white primer, which I have right here, we'll go into why you want to use this. That's whole sections of the model I don't have to paint now. It's there, it's done. Then
Oregon at least will be a little bit easier to just put, but yeah.
Right, exactly.
But hopefully it's just a solid enough. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You don't even have to do that part.
A lot of people like priming in black or grays.
Quick side note though, you said easier than you thought to strip them, correct?
Yes.
So actually, I think that's an important part here. Again, to not get overwhelmed and not to overthink it or worry about it too much. Start with something, try with something, and we'll show you later on how you can do that to pretty easily strip them. It's easier than you would think. There's a pretty easy way for you to just go, you know what, that looks like poop, and I would like to start over.
Yeah.
So don't over worry about it, and yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So, Gene Stealer, we've decided we want to prime white. We've got some white spray paint. You'll notice here it's a premium primer. You want to look for primer.
Items.
We buy premium.
Okay.
Okay.
We are not pennywise and pound
And
foolish.
also we've got some metallic primer here, all in one paint and primer. Okay, because we were talking about for the AdMech, they have a lot of metal, so we're just gonna, you know, we're just gonna prime in metal, so then all their metal bits are done. Mm-hmm. Okay, so why use these are spray paints? Why use spray paints? Because there's a lot of different options you can do. You have paint on primer. You have these. You can get an airbrush and do primer, which I'm currently exploring. Yeah. I'm a novice to that, so we're not gonna touch on that till I'm better at it. I'm looking up videos for that now. But these are really great and let you prime your model quickly and easily and have a very even coat. Mm-hmm. Okay, what you want to look for.
It's been satisfying. The models that I've primed of my Sigmar.
Yeah, Sylvaneth.
Age of Sigmar.
Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Sylvaneth.
My Sylvaneth models I've primed, and it has like a satisfying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. So this allows you to
These aren't gray anymore.
Yeah. So this allows you to get a really even coat, really fast, and with minimal effort. What you want to look for is you want to look for a primer. Okay, so don't just get any color spray paint, because you want to get something that is a primer. So, and then you're gonna see when you go to the store, you're gonna see, like gloss finish, satin finish, or matte finish. You want the matte finish, right? Because so satin and gloss are going to be really shiny, and it's going to look weird. When we first really got into 40k, I got some black satin finish primer, and it looked bad, and I'm currently in the process of repainting some miniatures with that, because now looking at it, I'm like, whoa, what the hell?
I think maybe sort of one of the things I've too just noticed, like, and seems to be a general wisdom, is like shiny is no good.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Unless you're trying to pull off a certain effect. But, like if it's
if you're like trying to do blood or something, like
then
a
shiny might
blood
be
or
whatever,
like specifically, but overall it's kind of like it takes it from looking like a Chinese factory produced McDonald's toy or whatever, which is like a shiny plastic with uniform, to like looking nice and like professional and like a cool, hobbyist model.
Right. You want to shake it for a good 2 to 3 minutes minimum. Okay, that's going to allow it to get all mixed up. Otherwise, you're going to get a really uneven spray. Okay, so
that's true.
Yeah, so they're really great. So you want to use those. You can find those.
If patience is not your virtue, then Warhammer is not for you anyway.
It kind of is not so fun having to hold these guys in your hand and spray them. Mm-hmm. So what I like to do,
best tip number 1,
is get these paint sticks. These are paint stirrers. You can see they're from Lowe's on the handle. Okay, we've got a couple that we've been using.
We actually had a pretty crappy key experience there recently.
Yeah, but you can get these at any hardware store, and I'm pretty sure you can get them at probably even a craft store, really. Now at a hardware store...
Sorry.
Now, at a hardware store, these are completely free. You just go in and you say, hey, can I get a couple of these paint stirrers?
Just ask for some paint stirrers at your local hardware store.
Yeah, and they're like, sure. So there you go. Absolutely free. And what you do is you stick
100% free.
You stick your model onto them, and I like to do like 10 models at a time, and you stick them onto there, and then now you've got a stick full of dudes.
So
and
what you need. Here is your list of necessary items. 3 paint stirrers from your local paint hardware store. some sticky tack. Then you need a model.
You get your model. Yep.
Perhaps you preferably want some gloves.
Yeah. I like having the gloves just...
Powder-free, non-latex.
Yeah. I like having the gloves so that way you don't get any extra spray paint on your hand, you know? So you take your sticky tack, right? You just kind of fluff it up a bit here, stretch it, kind of get some stuff worked into it. Mm-hmm. You stick it onto the bottom of your model like that. Take your model, stick it onto the stick like that. Now,
there you go.
He's holding on there. Yeah. Like I said, I like to put 10 guys, so I got 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Then you just take your spray can and you spray, you know, and you get it from all sorts of angles. It allows you to, almost dropped it out of that. So it allows you to just kind of manipulate them and get all around.
It works great.
Yeah.
And so this is mostly just if
mostly
you
just to you put it on your hands.
Spray paint on your hand.
Yeah.
Unless you want to get spray paint on your hand, because then when you go out,
then you feel like a cool guy.
Yeah, you feel cool because you're like, look at me, I'm crafty.
I'm basically a graffiti artist at this point. Yeah. So there you go. We are going to basically just stick our armies onto these sticks and go.
Okay, so here we are outside doing a quick little example of how you spray.
Halfway through, so some of these guys, you can see they're not completely white yet. There's still like some gray parts and stuff like that. But you wanna make sure you're not just like spraying constantly. You just want to do like
that's really important.
Bursts.
Yeah, or you'll get
too much primer.
Yeah, you'll get too
on
much.
Them.
So nice short bursts, not too far away. Make sure you stand downwind.
Okay. Yeah, a couple inches away.
We were talking about that. Like let's turn a little bit actually, because you're kind of.
You can see where the wind is going.
Yeah,
so you want to stand. You want to stand downwind.
Okay.
And then like you said with this, you can see a little bit of paint's got on myself there, and so you just you can spray from your different angles and get what you want there.
So preferably you want to be outside when it's not super humid, but having just rained, we're not doing a great job with that. Yeah, we're not doing a great job with that,
because
it did just rain. But you just have a higher chance of it bubbling up. So welcome back.
We're back.
Here are the finished primed Gene Stealer Colts.
Yep.
Guys.
So yeah, there you go. I mean, you saw we showed you a little bit of the spraying there. Just a couple important things to note.
Tips.
You want to spray a couple inches away, not too close that that the spray is pushing the paint around, but not so far that the paint has a chance to dry before it hits the model. And then just short controlled bursts. And this white primer came out fine today, but it was very humid. When we went out, so
we only have like a little bit of time off from work, so we were trying to kind of do it today, which we probably really shouldn't have because it was a little too humid. Raining.
Yeah,
like just a few.
Yeah,
a few minutes before we went out there. So
this one came out okay. Admech, the paint was bubbling and stuff. Their primer was bubbling, which is
probably
a problem.
Partly user error,
part humidity. 75% humidity, 25% error.
But let's recap most important things here. Tips.
What's your number one most important tip?
All right, number one, prime.
Prime your models. It helps.
Don't be a amateur and skip priming, because
priming helps in a lot of painting applications. So prime your models.
It'll make your life easier. It'll make your painting job look better. Number two, don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
If you paint them and you're like, this looks like poop,
it's super easy to strip them. You can
strip them and start over again.
Yep.
Okay. Tip number 3, don't breathe in paint fumes and dye.
Yeah.
Go outside.
Spray in a well-ventilated area, as in outside.
Yeah.
But don't spray in too high humidity, otherwise it doesn't come out good.
Tip number 4, get these paint sticks.
Get these paint sticks
and make it
and
easy
some sticky tack
and
make it super easy.
And maybe some gloves. So
yeah,
you'll have
these
paint
guys.
on your hand.
It was like 5 minutes outside and they're done.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Number 4 or 5, short bursts.
Short bursts.
6 to 12 inches away.
Yeah.
Little bit at a time. Be patient.
Yeah.
Okay. Tip number 6. Don't set it on your table before it's finished
Let them dry.
drying.
Let them dry. Yeah. Actually, that's actually... Wait, yes, that's a really tip. Dry time, like a day. Once you've primed them, let them sit overnight. A lot of them are probably okay to be painted on before that, but the longer you let it cure, the better it'll be. So I find I prime them one day, I come back to start painting them the next day. So that to me is the best. Just let them dry basically overnight. So this is around 6 o'clock. So I won't even attempt to paint these guys until sometime tomorrow after 6.
Again, patience.
Yeah.
Is a virtue here in the Warhammer world.
Yeah.
Tip number 7. Make a list and go to a store where you can get everything all at once. And, sticky tack is by the office supplies, right? We kind of had a little bit of trouble finding sticky tack, didn't we?
Yeah. Actually, I think we got it at Party City.
Who knew? And,
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go.
So
all
cool.
Right. So yeah, if
Tip number 8, have fun.
Have fun.
Tip number 9, don't get overwhelmed.
Don't do it.
Tip number 10, like, comment, and subscribe to Even Odds, the show.
Okay.
Bye.
So, you got to spray those outside as well, right? Don't.
Oh my gosh.
What? Well, come on.
I mean,
we're covering for the beginner.
All right, okay.
I do not want to assume. I just don't want someone commenting and being like, "Hey, I use a spray paint and I had to call the paramedics because I was having trouble breathing." You know what I mean?